Google was lagging in AI, but they've recently come out with tools that have gotten them back in the game. These tools leverage Google's unique position with web search and YouTube to really increase the value you can get out of the web and your own data. We're going to focus on three of these tools today: NotebookLM, Deep Research, and AI Studio. I'm Bill Eastman, and this is the AI for Your Business channel. It's the channel business people can come to quickly learn how they can leverage AI. Click on the subscribe button below, and you can be sure not to miss any tips and tools. We'll start with NotebookLM. NotebookLM is Google's version of an AI notebook, but instead of notes in a binder, you can put all of your materials into a repo. Then NotebookLM will use this as a knowledge base to answer questions, create briefing docs, and so on. So if you have a whole lot of documents, data, web links, and so on that you need to stay on top of, then NotebookLM can be really helpful. With NotebookLM, there are a lot of use cases for just learning a new topic, but in a business context, you might use it for staying on top of industry and company reports, speeding up onboarding, managing projects, or managing client relationships. We'll create a sample notebook to give you some ideas. The home screen shows the notebooks you've created. You can create a whole library of notebooks on different topics. We'll click Create a Notebook to get started. Here we see we can give our notebook a name in the upper left. The middle section is where we'll load our data, and on the left you'll see the data we've loaded. Then on the right you'll see how we can leverage all of this source data. For our example, we'll imagine we're a commercial office renovation business. Acme Corporation has put out an RFP to remodel their offices after the unfortunate explosion there. You're going to respond to the RFP based on your current experience, but there are a few twists. One, the project is in a different county than the one you normally work in and has different building codes and permitting requirements. Two, the company image and style is a bit different than that of the companies you've worked with in the past, so you'll need to get up to speed on suitable designs. We're going to create a knowledge repo with all the relevant information to respond to the RFP. We see we can load documents in several different formats and even MP3 audio files. That means you can load a recording of a Zoom meeting or even an audiobook. Down below, we see that if we don't have an actual document to load, we can still paste in text as a source. And since it's Google, of course we can pull straight from Google Docs or Google Slides. As with ChatGPT, we can include links to websites, but what's really cool is the ability to load YouTube videos. You'll just get the transcript of the video, but that's still a great way to get the substance of videos for your knowledge repo. This YouTube video upload capability is one of the things that differentiates NotebookLM from just loading documents into a ChatGPT prompt or project. Another differentiator is the large amount of data that NotebookLM can handle. That's what's known as having a large context window. So NotebookLM can handle a lot more documents and data before it chokes on them and starts losing track. A quick note on privacy before I load our documents for the notebook. NotebookLM is free, but if you use the free version, then Google will use your data when it's training its models. So proceed accordingly or get Gemini Advanced at $20 a month. Let's load the materials. Now we see the files we've loaded at the left pane, and the middle pane is changed to a chat screen with a summary of the sources. We see a YouTube video on design practices. We see a PDF on office furniture. We see some documents with building codes and permit requirements. And we see some documents from our last renovation project, and along with the budget and some floor plans. And if we click on a source, we can see its contents as well as a summary and a breakdown of its main topics. And if we click on one of these topics, we get a detailed breakdown of the topic in the middle pane. Note the references in the breakdown. You can click on them to go to the source. Now you can start querying the documents just like you would a normal ChatGPT prompt. It has a few starter questions based on the contents of your sources. Let's give one a try. All right. If you like the answer and want to save it for later, you can save it as a note, and you'll find that in the right pane. Or you can copy it into a document of your own. Now, if your notebook contains a lot of documents on different topics, you may want to only pull a few of them for particular questions. In that case, just click on the arrows to deactivate or reactivate the sources. But you can do more than just query your sources. NotebookLM can process them into various useful formats. We can create a briefing doc or a study guide or an FAQ or timeline. So you can take large amounts of information and put them into forms that you or others in your team can really use. Let's try a briefing doc. So here we have our RFP materials in a usable form, and you can make this briefing doc into a source itself for your repo. But what may be the coolest item is the audio overview. NotebookLM can take your sources and make a podcast out of them. Depending on the amount of source material, the podcast can take about 10 minutes to create, and it'll be from 15 to 30 minutes long. You can download the podcast and listen to it in your car or somewhere else if you like. Let's create one. I'll come back when it's finished. And here we have two podcasters discussing your sources in pretty natural form.
All right, let's jump into another deep dive. This time, we're looking at something I think a lot of our listeners can relate to, office renovations.
Oh, yeah?
You guys sent us some interesting stuff for this one.
I know, right?
We've got building codes for DeKalb County. Looks like a renovation plan for a company called XYZ Tech Solutions. And get this.
What?
A whole office furniture catalog.
It's like we've got the whole process covered.
Yeah, exactly. From like the boring regulations all the way to the fun design stuff.
To picking out your dream desk chair.
Okay, so maybe not that fun for everyone.
Fair enough.
But seriously, this stuff is important, right? Like, let's start with those DeKalb County building codes.
Okay, sure.
It's not exactly like beach reading.
Definitely not.
But it's crucial, right? I mean, if you're even thinking about like changing anything in.
Okay. And on top of that, Google has also just added a feature where you can break in on the podcast and ask questions, and they'll respond just as if you were a caller into a show or something. So for those of you trying to stay on top of a lot of info for your projects, I think it can come in really, really handy. Let's move on to deep research. In the last episode, we saw OpenAI's version of deep research that comes with its $200 a month plan. But you can get Google's version with Gemini Advanced at $20 a month. The idea is similar. You enter a prompt to research a topic, and Deep Research scours Google's website index to find up to hundreds of sources to create a report. The model is fine-tuned for research and to reduce hallucinations, although at the moment the base model is still Gemini 1.5, which is still a year old and not Google's most current model. So still a little work to do there. So to get started with deep research, we're going to choose it in the model selector dropdown here. We'll do an example to show how it works. Let's say a real estate broker is interested in how AI is being used in their industry. Now, as I've said in previous episodes, the quality of your output will depend upon the quality of your prompt, so you need to put a little thought into it. I like to discuss the question with ChatGPT to work out a good prompt. And here's what I came up with. Investigate innovative applications of AI utilized by real estate brokers. Emphasize cutting-edge practices, including this, and this. Use high-quality sources. Explore social media for real-world perspectives. Get practical implementations and avoid generalities. Okay, so we'll click Submit, and the first thing it does is lay out its research plan. All right, you can make edits to this plan or tell it to start. Let's kick it off. It takes 5 to 10 minutes to create a report, so I'll break and come back when it's finished. And here we see our report. Now, a real estate agent watching this might say these use cases aren't interesting or they already handle them with their current tools. But in a matter of minutes, an agent can come up to speed on how AI is being used in their business, and they may find some useful nuggets. An agent can also use their expertise to come up with a better prompt than I've used here. One nice touch is that deep research includes a list of the sources it's used. let's go down here. And the report references the sources. So if you want to learn a little more about a point, you can go straight to the source. Speaking of sources, deep research reports can be an ideal source for NotebookLM. You can upload the report to a Google Doc or copy it into your own document, and you can use that as a great foundation for a notebook. Let's finish with Google AI Studio. AI Studio is targeted at programmers, and some of the things on this screen may look sort of scary, but we're just going to focus on Stream Realtime. That name's misleading. It should be called screen sharing. With this tool, you can share your screen with the Gemini model and discuss what you're seeing. This comes in handy if you have a new tool you're trying to figure out, or basically have anything you want to talk through. It's like having the office expert sitting next to you and helping you, but you don't have to feel awkward about bothering them. If we click into Stream Realtime, we see choices for Talk to Gemini, Show Gemini, and Share Your Screen. Talk to Gemini allows you to talk rather than type, while Show Gemini turns on your webcam. If you use the mobile version of AI Studio, it makes Gemini similar to OpenAI's voice mode that we reviewed last week. You can point your phone camera and discuss what you see with Gemini. Today we're going to focus on Share Your Screen though. Note, today's example is going to be relatively simple, but if you have something really arcane to work through, then you can load its documentation to help Gemini explain it to you. That said, let's share our screen. Hi, how are you doing today?
Okay, I see you have an Excel spreadsheet open. Okay, I see you have an Excel spreadsheet. Is there something specific you would like to know about it?
Sure, I'm trying to create a pivot table. Can you help me step through that?
Sure, I can help with that. What information do you want to include in your pivot table?
I think I want total sales by salesperson.
Okay, to create a pivot table showing total sales by salesperson, first select any cell within your data. Then, go to the Insert tab on the ribbon and click on Pivot Table.
Okay, hold on a second.
No problem, take your time. Let me know when you are ready to continue.
Okay, I have it chosen.
Great. After selecting Pivot Table, a dialog box will appear. Make sure the table/range field is correct, and choose where you want the pivot table to be placed, either a new worksheet or the existing one. What do you choose?
I'll put it in the existing one. I guess I'll put it in cell L6.
Okay, you want to put the pivot table in the existing worksheet in cell L6. After choosing that, click OK. Now, on the right side of your screen, you'll see a Pivot Table Fields pane. Does that appear correctly?
Yes.
Okay, now, drag the salesperson field from the top section to the rows area, and drag total sales to the values area in the bottom of the pane. This will display the total sales for each salesperson. Is the pivot table showing the correct information?
It looks that way.
Great! Your pivot table now shows the total sales for each salesperson. Is there anything?
Can we add the breakout by payment method?
Yes, we can definitely do that. Just drag the payment method field from the top section to the columns area. This will show each salesperson's sales broken down by payment method.
Okay, I think that takes care of it. Thanks for your help.
You're very welcome. Is there anything else I can assist you with today?
No, that's it. Thank you. And there you have it. I wish I'd had this years ago. It would have made my life so much easier. Okay, that's it for today. I hope between NotebookLM, Deep Research, and AI Studio that you've seen some ways that you can really increase your productivity with Google tools. If you have questions or would like more details, please leave a comment. Next episode, we'll look at how to use Microsoft and OpenAI tools to manage your Outlook emails. Based on some conversations I've had, this could save some of you up to 10 hours per week. So please subscribe to not miss these and other ways to optimize your use of AI. And if you feel like you've gotten some value today, please leave a like. Till next time, good luck with your business.